Hello and welcome to A Normal Meets a Nerd, a podcast with me, Dylan Evans, a normal person who likes asking those abnormal questions you will definitely want to know the answer to.
And me, Darragh Ennis, a professional nerd who will try to answer those questions using science and common sense.
And on this episode, we are asking such questions as, what is a memory? What are humans actually better than animals then? Is it magic? What is a vinyl? How does it do that? It doesn't make sense. Welcome to Wizards Chat. Okay, so I'm sitting here with super genius mega nerd. I feel like I should start with a fairly simple one. How big's a piece of string?
So it's a simple question, but I'm going to give you a very complicated answer.
You've got an answer for everyone.
So, depending on which model of the universe you go with, a piece of string, it can actually be the shortest thing that there is. And all pieces of string are the shortest thing that there ever is.
You're going to have to break that down.
Right, so every time we think we've found the smallest thing. So we used to think atoms were the smallest thing.
Yeah,
and then we split them. We split the atom, and there's neutrons and protons and all that kind of stuff. Right, they're the smallest things. Mm-hmm. And then we split them up into smaller things called quarks. Wow. And quarks have mad names like up, down, charm, bottom, spin, and all that kind of stuff. There's different flavors, literally called flavors of quarks.
Are you alright?
No, this is what quantum
Wizard Chat. Welcome to Wizards Chat. People.
Well, physics wizards. But now there's another new theory called string theory, which you might have heard of.
Another name? Another name, actually?
People know from the Big Bang Theory and stuff. It's what Sheldon studies.
Right.
And strings are what they think even smaller again than quarks and protons and neutrons.
How small are we talking?
Okay, so if you have a 0 and a decimal point and 33 more zeros and a 1,
right, it's
that fraction of a meter. So they're so small.
That's quite small.
That if you scale them up to the size of, say, planet Earth, the halfway point is a speck of dust. So if you go planet Earth, shrink that down to the size of a speck of dust, and then you go the same distance again, that's how small they are. They're minuscule.
So what would your answer be to how long is a piece of string?
0.000.
No, but you'd say the smallest thing ever.
The smallest thing that you can possibly think.
What if you split that?
They haven't gone that far yet, but it's only a matter of time, to be honest.
Do it!
So they're actually so small that a lot of physicists consider them to be one-dimensional. They actually consider them to be a point rather than anything else.
How can something not be 3D?
I know. Not even 2D, 1D. They think they're that small. Yeah.
This doesn't go down to 1D.
String theory is bonkers. It's really complicated, but they really do think that this could, if they can understand it properly, it could be what they call the theory of everything, where you find out how the whole universe works. And but strings are actually the smallest thing there are.
Beautiful. What a nice, simple start we've had.
Yeah.
Nice and easy, straight in there. Another simple one.
Yeah.
What is a memory? What is a memory?
But now this is my field, so this is what I worked on.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so when I worked in the lab, we worked on fruit flies and their brains, and we tried to figure out how memories are made at a molecular level. That's what our lab did.
The simple stuff.
So yeah, absolutely dead simple, but really good fun. So if you remember what you had for breakfast this morning.
Yeah?
That is...
Can of Red Bull.
a can of Red Bull and... Yeah, no. So... That's a physical object in your brain, that memory. That exists, it's a thing.
This is what I meant, this is what I meant.
So this is something that a lot of people don't get is, your brain has got billions of cells in it and they connect with each other. You know, everyone knows about synapses firing and connecting and all that stuff.
We all know about that.
Yeah, but people do. You know, you kind of hear it, you know, you mightn't understand it, but you know it exists.
Yeah. I know the word.
So when your nerve cells connect to each other, they actually grow new connections all of the time. Like all of the time. They're called...
Like your brain's growing, like a little vine.
Like a vine that's pushing out new little buds and new leaves, and they're all intertangled and they're all connected to each other. Right. And that's what a memory is. It's like, it's a physical new chemical electrical connection. Yeah, it's a thing. And your brain cells are what are called, in science, called plastic. Now, it doesn't mean plastic as in like, you know,
what are you telling me?
Like cling film plastic. Plastic is just a word for something that's reshapeable and remoldable. So they're constantly changing and they grow and shrink new synapses all of the time. So your brain isn't a static object. It's constantly moving. And those memories are physical things that are made.
So you theoretically could take one out? Well,
Yeah, it would be very difficult to isolate one.
Yeah,
That's the thing, because we don't know where memories are stored, and sometimes they're in multiple synapses in different parts of the brain, and sometimes they're chemical signals. It's very complicated, but they are physical things.
So a bit like, have you seen Inside Out?
Yeah.
When they have memories, they're like
Yeah.
little balls.
Yeah, and then when they
That's
don't,
not that far-fetched.
yeah, no, it's not. And when they don't need them anymore, they get dumped to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
erased.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what you do. You just remove
So what's
them.
that? Why are we dumping memories?
Because if you remembered every single thing, your brain wouldn't function very well. Like if you remembered absolutely everything, you remember what you had for breakfast this morning.
I've already forgot.
Red Bull, do you remember?
Oh yeah.
It's in there. But if you remembered every single thing, it would become horrific.
So like a database.
Yeah.
Like your head is like a
like
computer.
if you constantly had perfect memory recall all of the time and you remembered absolutely everything, it'd be really hard to function as a human. You'd remember every number you were given, every step you took.
But that would be good.
Up to
More
a
knowledge,
point.
you know.
But it's very hard to process it. It's very hard to keep control of it. And
But some people are better at remembering than others. Like you, for exactly, this is what I don't get. Like our brains aren't the same. You have got like more capacity, like more storage, like your hard drive.
it's not more storage as such, but I have a talent for retaining the information. So my brain, whatever way I work it or it works, keeps useless knowledge for a very long time. Well, it's not now because I've made a career out of it. But you know, things like that, I have an ability to remember stuff, and it doesn't seem to go away as readily as other people do.
So like a talent. So like I couldn't learn that because
You can up to a point, yeah. So there's a really good book I read called Moonwalking with Einstein. Title's brilliant, I know. It's about a normal guy. He was a reporter who went into the World Memory Championships. It is a thing. And they do things like where they memorize the sequence of a deck of cards in like 5 minutes.
Right.
Which doesn't sound that impressive, but it actually really is. There's so many different combinations. But he started interviewing people who did it for an article, and then, do you know what, I'm going to do this. And he did the memory techniques, and he did the training, and he entered the
training.
Yeah, he did, because people train. I train for quizzes.
Yeah.
And he entered the competition, and he actually did all right. And he was just a normal journalist. You can train yourself, you can train your memory if you work at it, but you have to work at it.
And is memory just, that's how smart you are, really, isn't it?
Intelligence is linked to it, but it's not the only
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. So if you have a very good memory, people are more likely to think you're smart.
Yeah.
Because you remember stuff. Like me, I'm like intelligent, but I'm not superstar intelligent. You know, I've worked with but I'm really good at remembering stuff when I want to. And that's like, people are impressed by that. But it's just a trick. It's a parlor game.
So what's a photographic memory? Is that real?
So an eidetic memory, a photographic memory, is a thing, but it's extraordinarily rare.
And they
really
full on
rare.
see.
They can remember
a lot of
everything.
my memories are all blurry, and I think probably half wrong. I'm always really cool in my
Well,
memories.
one of the problems with all of these connections in your brain, going back to what it is, is that they can sometimes become merged. So you can misremember things really easily, and you can merge different things.
I
So
do this all the time.
if you ask someone who's a witness to a crime, if you ask them straight afterwards, it'll be fairly accurate. But if you ask them like
in a week,
it comes out on a show going, can anybody phone in about it within a week or 2 weeks or a month later? It's really unreliable. Police will say this all the time. You have to get it fresh, or else your memory starts to corrupt it, and you fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll use other things, or what you think you might have heard or might have seen, or you'd be influenced by someone. And it's really easy for that to happen.
Hijacking your brain.
Yeah, your brain hijacking itself, essentially. Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So this is the same thing. Like in one of the other episodes, we talked about deja vu. Your brain can influence itself. So yeah.
And a memory is a physical thing.
It's a physical object.
That's mind blowing.
It's cool, isn't it?
That's mad. So without technology, what are humans actually better than animals then?
So the answer to this is going to be very surprising to people.
Okay.
So
I think
if we remove,
I've got an answer.
if we remove all technology and social advancement, so if you take a human who has no other humans around them, what are they better than other animals at? What's your answer?
Nothing.
No, there's one thing.
We're rubbish.
No, we're really good at one thing.
Darragh, honestly, we are terrible.
And when
the more I think about it, we're in water, terrible.
We're not
Just
made
like
for water.
I know, but we're just like, anything in the water is so much faster than us, can just kill us. A squirrel is faster than a human.
Well, you are really not going to like my answer.
It's not, a squirrel's faster, we're pretty much pathetic. A chimp would batter us.
Oh, in a fight, yeah, but
A chimp would
there's
rag us.
one thing that we are better than all other animals at, and you're not going to like the answer. Running.
Well, no, we're not. I've just
We
said
are.
A squirrel's faster. No.
Sprinting, no, but long distance running, humans are the number one.
Well,
If you
long distance running
long,
with the best
long
animal.
distance, we are the best animal.
That can't be true.
It is. It absolutely
true.
is.
He's
Long
lying.
distance running.
He's
Telling
lying.
you, it's true. So there's entire tribes that still do this. The less as time goes on, they hunt using a thing called persistence hunting, and it's basically
going at it.
it's basically like remember Dirk Cout used to play for Liverpool.
I do remember Darragh.
Yeah.
Great stamina.
Yeah, exactly. Just never gave up, and that's it. So they run down their prey, and the animal keeps running, and it's faster than them, but you just don't ever give up.
So that like the antelope or the deer, whatever you're chasing,
will just eventually
will gas out.
will completely collapse and a human can keep going, and that is the one thing that we're able to do physically that we're able to do. Most of our advancements are technological or social.
I feel all proud.
Now, I mean we as a species, not we as in us two.
Say that. You don't have to know this.
Just for the record, I wouldn't make it to the end of the road.
No, but apart from that, you can settle that we are rubbish.
We're pretty rubbish physically. We're very good socially.
A chimp is better physically than us.
It depends on
A proper chimp. They
depends.
rag us. I read a thing about a chimp.
Yeah.
And by reading the thing, I mean I seen a TikTok
Yeah.
on it. There was this chimp attack that when a chimp attacks a human, they go for like specific things because they know we need them. So they go for like our face because they want to make our face distorted. They go for fingers. Like a chimp will like pin you down and bite your fingers off. And then also they go for the male phallus.
Yes. Yeah.
However you'd say it. But they apparently chimps know what, like, because
Well,
the
'cause
primates.
same body plan, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, they know other chimps need like the fingers to use stuff, so they go for stuff like that.
I don't know what it is about our chats, but they seem to always devolve into who would win in a fight between different animals.
No, come on, put them all together.
You know, we're very good at some things. Like, we're very dexterous. You know, we're able to do quite complicated things with our hands that other animals can't do. Maybe we're
Are we not good at throwing? Because I've seen chimps throw stuff and it's not very accurate. Are we not good at like throwing? Theoretically?
Accuracy, but not distance. You know, that kind of thing. So we're good at fine motor skills. We're really good at that. We're very good socially. We're very intelligent. But without technology, realistically, it's pretty much running.
We're pretty poo.
Yeah.
And with technology, I've seen a video of like chimps using, not chimps, little monkeys and that, using rocks, smashing stuff open. Are they evolving? Are they evolving in real time?
No. Everything's evolving in real time.
Will they catch
constantly.
up? Will it be little chimp cities?
That's not how evolution works, unfortunately.
It is. I mean,
a lot of that is social. So some groups of chimps do it, and others don't, or they use different tools and use
that makes it
different
more
methods.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. So it's really interesting, but it's a society and it's a social evolution as much as anything. And if you isolate one of them, or if they're removed from the group, they don't do the same techniques. They learn it from other people. It's culture. It's not evolution. It's cultural.
So they need to like group up more, and then we'll have little chimp cities.
We're a little bit away from
Bring
Planet
on
of
the
the
little
Apes.
chimp cities. Bring it on. I'd love that.
I'd say the rent would be cheap.
So here's one where I think you'll even describe what happens, and I still won't get it, right? How do vinyls work? As in like a record.
Oh, vinyl records.
A vinyl record, is it magic? What is a vinyl? How does it do that? It doesn't make sense.
It's not magic, it's just really clever.
No, it doesn't make sense.
And I think the first person who did it, like Edison, I just want to make it very clear, Thomas Edison did not invent it. Edison's company invented it, and he patented it and took the money. But he wasn't much of an inventor, actually. He was just a very good businessman. But it's all down to how sound works at a physics level. So everybody knows sound is a wave. Yeah, and you visualize it, and if you've ever like recorded anything, you can see the levels, and it goes up and down, and it's a wave, up and down,
Lovely.
and that's fairly easy to understand. So the distance between the waves, so how frequent the waves are, is the frequency, because that's how frequent they are, which is why it's called frequency.
Didn't know that. We are learning here today.
And the closer together they are, the higher the frequency, because they're more frequent, and that's higher pitched noises. So a whistle will have a really high frequency, a drum will have a low one. And then how deep the waves are is their amplitude. So that's how big they are top to bottom.
Right, yeah.
And that's how loud it is.
Okay.
And that's why it's called an amplifier.
Nice.
It's because you increase the amplitude.
We are learning.
So everybody, if you understand that as a concept, then actually the next step is fairly intuitive. So,
Well, so you know, I kind of half get that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a little, what looks like a plate.
yeah,
with
so it's got
ridges in.
it's got a spiral in it. So the groove is a spiral. It's not. Everyone thinks they're circles, but it isn't. It
I
actually
thought
goes. No, because think about it. The needle goes all the way along it. It's a spiral.
Oh, yeah, the song.
All the way in.
next
There's only one line on each side of a record.
But the question is,
Yeah.
forget all the amplifying and stuff
Yes.
and that. How is that music being put on the little plate?
I don't just say this stuff for kicks, they're linked. So what happens is they use the wave, the sound wave is etched into the record when they cut it. So the grooves and the little things, if you look at it under a magnifying glass, they're actually, it's not just a straight line, it's got little ridges and lumps and stuff in it. Those are the sound waves.
That's the bit.
It follows the same pattern as the sound wave. So it's got the frequency and the amplitude in it. Okay, so it's got that encoded into it because of how it's etched. And the needle goes into it and it moves along the sound wave. Okay, so it's not going just round and round, it's actually moving microscopically.
Yeah.
And then inside the player, up above the needle, it moves, the back end of the needle moves backwards and forwards between usually a magnet or something with an electromagnetic charge. And that is able to go, okay, we will transfer that movement of the wave into an electronic wave. Exactly the same. It just copies the movement of the needle and puts it into an electronic wave, which is the sound. So the sound, it's so...
I know exactly what you just said. Yeah. All the words made sense. It all sounded, I get it. I just don't get how that's a song. So, and that this is also quite old.
Oh, really old? Yeah,
I'm more impressed by a vinyl than I am a CD.
It's so impressive.
I get a CD to an extent.
The fact that in like the 19th century they went, okay, it's a wave and we need to put a physical representation of the wave in and use a needle to turn it back into electricity.
Mind-blowing things in history.
It's one of the most brilliant leaps of technology ever. It's brilliant, but it's actually quite simple and elegant how it works.
And then when you see them get made, it's like a little blob of wax, or I don't even know what it is.
Vinyl.
Right, we're going to cut that bit out. We'll edit this bit in. So the actual vinyl material, when you see it get pressed, and then it's the most surreal looking thing. I still don't get it. I know exactly what you've said. The words were lovely. It still hasn't went in. There's a few things like that I've got in me. Like, I know this might sound stupid. Helicopters, don't get out there flying. There should be well more wind.
Have you ever been near a helicopter when it's taken off?
No, I know, but there should be even more. It should be like,
I think
should go.
A lot of people don't understand how much wind it pushes down. Like, it's really impressive.
They scare me. They seem unreliable.
They are terrifying.
Have you been in one?
No.
Would you?
Yeah.
No.
They're very safe. Air travel is safer. They're safer than a car.
Well, there's the small cars. Cruise ships, another one. Shouldn't float. Doesn't make sense.
But that doesn't. No, it just
doesn't make sense. It just doesn't fully make sense. It must be some kind of magic.
No, it's just physics. There's more displacement. That's all it is. It's not that complicated. Look, the way to look at it with a vinyl, right, is I'm gonna go. If you take the sound wave, the physical vinyl is essentially a 3D print of the sound wave. That's what it is, and they've just shrunk it down so that it's small. And you run the needle along the sound wave, so it copies the wave that went in, and then it just turns into electricity wave the same way and puts it out.
Magic. Bit of a weird one here. Why does like artificial flavoured banana not taste like banana? I love a banana. I could nail a banana. Lovely fruit. Banana flavoured things knock me sick. It's not, I don't get that. What's going on?
Well, I'm just going to open right out here. I hate bananas. They're pretty much the only food I won't eat. Why? I don't like them because they're slimy and they're disgusting.
You get a little window of it. Not too brown, not too thing.
Yeah, no, just not for me. But there's a very good reason why. So the banana flavouring is what bananas used to taste like.
What?
So bananas that we eat now are all, pretty much every one that you buy it's from a variety of banana called the Cavendish banana. That's the name of the variety. And all of the yellow bananas you buy in every supermarket are essentially the same. They're pretty much clones of each other. So they don't reproduce with seeds or anything like that. They're all cloned and propagated. So they're all exactly the same. So they all taste the same.
Right.
And that was brought in about the 50s.
Oh, so there was other bananas.
Because the one that was before that, Le Gros Michel, or the Big Mickey, as we could call it, was attacked by fungal disease. And because they're clones, if one of them is susceptible, they all are, because they're all pretty much genetically identical. And they got almost completely wiped out.
Oh, wow.
So the Le Gros Michel banana tasted almost exactly like fake banana flavoring. And they've just never changed it. That banana flavor mimics what bananas were like 75 years ago.
Oh my God.
And now...
So bananas have changed?
Oh yeah. But they haven't changed. Once they're a variety and they're established, because they're clonal, they don't change at all, which is why you don't even a million different types of apple.
Yeah.
You don't have a million different types of banana for very specific reasons. So they are clones. The other great thing about banana plants is Well, two things. One is they're the biggest herb in the world because there's no wood in them. They're herb. You ever
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and the other one is that they walk.
Right.
So a banana plant.
You can't sit here and say that banana plants are walking around.
Yeah, they do. So banana plants live for a few decades.
Right.
And because of how they grow and how they produce, if you mark the point where they are, and then 30 years later or 20 years later you go, they'll have actually moved. So they'll grow and then put up another stem, and it's very gradual.
Oh, so it's
over
not
time.
walking.
It's not like having to stroll down to the shops. But if you did like a time lapse over like years and years and years, the whole thing will have moved. They crawl along. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
But bananas used to taste different.
It used to taste much sweeter. Yeah.
I thought it was something like chemical or something stupid going
and
on.
it was. I think it's called the Panama disease or something. It's a fungal disease.
Do you like banana flavoured stuff?
No.
See, I like strawberry flavoured stuff.
Yeah.
Hate strawberries.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't mind strawberry flavored stuff. Much prefer strawberries, but
I can't stand strawberries.
Bananas are very weird. That Chiquita banana, the Cavendish banana.
Someone was old, say someone who's like 80 and was alive back then. They would have had those.
They would have known it was different.
The original bananas.
No,
the
the original bananas.
OBs.
If you ever see the ones that the commercial ones are
they
grown
little?
from, they're tiny and they've got loads of seeds in them, and they're really fibrous and they're not that sweet at all. They actually have tons and tons of little dark seeds in them. So as humans, we've manipulated these plants and changed them completely. So the commercial ones that we grow now, they're very, very different to the original banana.
Wow, we are learning here today. So I think this is a genius idea, and I don't get why it wouldn't work. Right.
Yeah.
So say I think I've figured out unlimited energy.
Okay.
I think I've genuinely done it with cars. So why can't I take a car, right? Normal car, whatever it is, put like some kind of fishing rod thing, hear me out, put some kind of fishing rod thing on the roof, so about 10 feet in front of the car and dangling like a giant magnet. And then, listen, and then on the bumper of the car is the other magnet. So that's always trying to pull towards that, but it'll just roll the car. Strong magnets, the car will move. Why can't we do that?
Okay, so the reason why it's physics. That's
This
not how
is
physics works.
That's not an answer. So you just say physics when I say magic.
Yeah, so...
And I'm like, oh, it's magic that makes that happen. You just say physics.
The magnet and the car are all part of the same system. So
No, but there's like a fishing rod. You're missing the fishing.
The fishing rod is attached to the car. So it would work if you had another separate vehicle with a magnet on the back of it would be able to pull one along. That's quite obvious. And that's how maglev trains largely work, all that kind of stuff.
Why don't we do that?
Because the one at the front has to drive. And it has to be pulled along by something.
But no, there's one in front of that one.
At some point. At some point you have to have a force that's pulling them along. And every one you add on adds weight. So you'd have to have all that kind of stuff.
It's not fully attached to the car. It's on like a string.
Basically what you're doing is, it's the equivalent of if your car broke down and you just got in the back seat and pushed the driver's seat to try and push it along. You know, there is the same amount of force is being applied, but you're within the system. You can't do it. It has to be separate. At some point,
Do you like the thinking of it though?
I like the idea of it, the thinking of it.
It's close to working.
It's
I need
a good
to work
idea.
on it. I'll go back to the drawing board. But there's something there.
What you're talking about is perpetual motion, which defies all of the laws of physics and thermodynamics. It just can't happen. There has to be energy into a system. You can't create energy. You can only change its form. So you can't create energy. There has to be an input to get an output. You can't do it. It's just not possible. So yeah, it is essentially trying to push a car from the inside. It's a nice idea, but it doesn't work.
Spoil sport.
Yeah, I know.
Ruined it. What does water taste like?
Water doesn't taste like anything.
But it must.
But it doesn't.
But it must.
So
it must. It literally must.
What most people think that they're drinking out of a bottle or out of their tap is water. It's not.
Wait. What do you mean? It's so mind-blowing. What you mean? It's not water.
It's not water. It's mostly water.
What's the rest?
Whatever's dissolved in it. So water is really, really good at stuff dissolving in it. It's brilliant at it. It's a great solvent. Right? It really is. It's what
credit to water.
Yeah, brilliant. It's essential to life. It's got big ups to water.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, but it's really, really hard to keep water pure. So when I was working in the lab, if we were doing sort of genetics work and we needed like 99.99% water, we had to pay quite a lot of money to companies to send us specially sealed bottles
Pure water.
of pure water.
Did you try some? Did you taste some?
Yeah, it's just tastes like nothing. Yeah.
Does it
like
taste
anything.
nicer than bottled water?
Just tastes wet. I actually prefer
Tastes
bottled.
wet.
I just yeah, it's just wet. So I prefer bottled water. It has a bit like it doesn't taste like anything because there's nothing in it. To the point where if you open it, we could only use it for a few weeks because the carbon dioxide from the air will get into it.
Where did they get in this water? Sorry.
They would like specially distill it in like really carefully controlled conditions.
I want to try some.
It's
like Fiji water.
It's completely unremarkable. It's just water.
And so you're genuinely saying water does not have a taste?
It doesn't really have a taste. No. So you know, like tap water has a slightly metallic taste. It's got like fluorine.
I can tell different waters. You could put different water brands in front of me, and I think I'd be.
And different water from different parts of the country tastes different because of the rock that it's in, because the rocks in the reservoirs dissolve. What type of pipes you have in your house, all that kind of stuff. That's what you're tasting. You're not tasting the water itself. The water is just a carrier. It's kind of like having, I don't know, popcorn or something, or mashed potato, and it's like it's the butter and the salt that you're really tasting. It's the stuff that's in it that you taste, not the water itself.
So officially, water has no taste?
Has no smell and it has no taste.
Wow. Settled.
Yeah.
We are learning here today.
We'll have to get a t-shirt with that on.
We are learning here today. I think we should finish on a pretty simple one. Seen a little bit, we went into depth a little bit there, so I think we'll finish something easy. Which came first? Chicken, egg?
This is really easy because there's a very definitive answer.
I don't think there is.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. This has been like a massive discussion for millennia.
The amount of people who put this as a comment for me on like TikTok or Instagram, chicken, the egg, by several, many tens of millions of years.
No, what do you mean? No.
The first egg in the fossil record is from hundreds of millions of years ago.
Yeah, we know that.
The first chicken happened about 8,000 years ago.
Chicken? No. That doesn't count. You're cheating me.
Well, I'm not cheating. Literally, they had eggs. Early amphibians had eggs. Most of the things that were before that.
But what comes first, the chicken egg or the chicken then? You know what I mean?
Oh, so we're going species specific.
Yeah.
Because
does the chicken evolve into a chicken in a lifetime, or does it hatch and then that's technically a chicken?
Well, the chicken evolved from what's called, I think it's the red jungle fowl, one of the jungle birds anyway, and it was specially bred. So at what point we started calling it a chicken?
See, chicken in it. Chicken come first.
It depends on what point you call it a chicken.
That's where I think it's like. Oh, so one day it was technically a chicken while it was alive. Because it's evolving in real time.
Yeah, so if you go down the route of saying, which is really not true, but if we're going to pretend that it's true, that there was a definitive day that we went, okay, that's a chicken now,
day. Yeah.
Then the chicken came before the chicken egg. But if you ask which came first, the egg or the chicken, the egg did by at least 200 million
I've heard that question, obviously thousands of times in my life. I've never put that to it. Obviously, eggs have existed for longer than chickens have existed.
But if I say to people, they're like, oh yeah, like dinosaurs had eggs.
Yeah, I feel really stupid now. That's what I'm taking from this episode. I feel thick.
And that's only the ones that we know of, because it's really likely that life in the sea had eggs that just didn't leave any fossil records for even further back.
It's probably dissolved stuff.
Yeah, it's really good at it. It's brilliant at it.
It's the best thing.
Fair play to water.
Right, that's it. I feel like I've learned so much, but I'm coming away from this feeling stupid.
Yeah, no, this has been a good chat.
Yeah.
So I think we might need people to send us some questions.
Yeah, I think we do. So if you're listening to this right now, find us on the socials, wherever. Get your comments in. Get your questions in, and the super mega nerds genius Darragh will do some answering.
And the weirder the question, the better.
Oh, we love weird questions.
So if somebody says, don't ask that, it's a stupid question, we want that question.
Ask it loud.
We don't want which came first, the chicken or the egg. We've covered that. But give us something else. And if you say what came first, the pigeon or the egg,
blocked.
That's it.
Blocked. Okay, thanks for listening.
See ya.